Hi there, I'm John Lebensold for Killer PHP, and today what I'm going to be doing is looking at how we can create an HTML5 site with a video background using the video tag. So I'm going to be showing you how you can use the video tag and talking a little bit about its functionality, but we're also going to use it as a background to our website. So this is the website that we did in our last set of videos. I'm actually going to build this up from scratch now so that we can just kind of review some of the concepts that were covered in the last section. So I've got here an empty style.css file and an empty index.php file, or index.html file rather. And if I just look at my file system over here, you'll see that I've got in my folder here, I've got an index, a style, and then a test MOV video and a test OGV video. So if I look at the MOV, you'll see that it's basically an animated film. This is an open source video. This is the trailer of it, or I think it's actually the whole video. And this is an OGV version of that same video. So we've got two versions. One is the OGG video format and one is H.264 using QuickTime. Now the reason we have two different copies of the same video is because currently some browsers are supporting the OGG format and some browsers are supporting the MP4 or MPEG-4 and H.264. Once these decisions and once the kind of licensing around these issues gets sorted out, we'll probably only have one video format for the web, hopefully. But anyways, so if you are interested in using the video tag and you want to make sure that it works in Safari and Chrome and Firefox, and you want it to work seamlessly, you're going to need two versions of your video, at least at this point. But it will work on the iPod and the iPhone and the iPad as well. So let's get started. So I've got an index.html tag or file here, and if I go to 09, which is the project file, you'll see there's nothing there. And I'm going to start by adding my doc type of HTML, make my language English, and we're going to have a head section and a body section. And we're going to, I'm going to add that meta tag, which will have equiv content type text/HTML with a character set of UTF-8, and this is just kind of standard header stuff that we like to make sure that it exists. And I'm also going to make sure that my text editor is set to parse HTML so that I get the right syntax coloring. And I'm going to add a title, which will be HTML5 video. And lastly, I'm just going to include a link to my style sheet. Let's see if the relationship, this is of type style sheet. The URL is going to be style.css and the type is text/CSS. And then in here I'm going to have a head section, and I'm going to have a section for just general content. So I'm going to have, I'll just call it an article. And then I'm just going to put in some text here, so article title. Hit save. Go back to Firefox, refresh it. So far it looks okay. And then in my CSS, I'm going to add a global reset, which is this star. Basically, it applies it to all the tags. And that worked. Good. I'm going to set the background of my body to black. So now it's going to be a black background. And then I'm going to have my article and also my section. I want them to display block. And then for my section, I'm going to have a background of white, say 10 pixels of padding, and a width of 50%. Alright, there we go. So, with this in place, I want to start off by actually embedding the video tag, since that's really the meat of this project. And then what we'll do is we're going to add a navigation on top of that, which is going to be semi-transparent, just to show you kind of some of the cool features and maybe help inspire you to build your next HTML5 website with video as part of it. So in my index.html file at the bottom, I'm going to add a video tag. And I'm going to set autoplay to true. And then I'm going to close the video tag. Now, with video tags, if the browser doesn't support the video in question, then it'll default to whatever you put inside the video tag. So if you want, you can have, you can have the first video source, which in this case for me is going to be source src equals test.mov. And I'm going to say it's of type video/mp4. And if there isn't an MP4 available, then you can make it display some text. So for example, I could say your browser doesn't support the video tag. Now if I refresh this page again, I'm not going to see anything. Now this is probably because the MOV version is not supported in Firefox. However, if you look carefully here, you can see that there's an MP4 and referencing test.mov. So let's see what it looks like when I open it in Chrome. So when I open it in Chrome, the video seems to load correctly without any kind of issues. So one thing that you have to be mindful of is that most Apache configurations, most web server configurations, don't support OGV out of the box. So when I put in a source src equals test.ogv, the OGG video file, and I say test video equals OGG, or test video type equals video/OGG, it's still not going to play it properly. And the reason for that is that essentially Apache doesn't know how to deal with the OGG video format. So one way around that is to modify your configuration of Apache. Now if you don't have root access to your web server, another way around that is to create what's called an htaccess file. If you've ever done anything with mod rewrite, or you've ever wanted to take your URLs for your website and make them cleaner or look better, then you've probably dabbled a little bit with htaccess. htaccess files are hidden files that sit on the web server and that allow you to do your own last-minute configuration of the web server for that particular folder. So I'm going to create a new file here, and I'm going to save it inside this folder, and I'm going to call it .htaccess. And it's going to say, uh-oh, are you sure? Because usually dot files are used for system files, but we're going to say use the dot. Now, in order for this to work, I have to add a type of video/OGG, and it needs to be of .ogv. Then I have to do header set access control allow origin star header unset e tag and file e tag none. Now these 4 lines of code basically configure your web server to allow the OGG video format to be properly handled by Firefox. So with these 4 lines in place, if I refresh this again, I should, hopefully, let's see something. Okay. You'll see that the video loads correctly.